What if your future is already being shaped right now, in silence, while you think nothing is happening? There's an invisible force vibrating around you at this very moment, responding not to what you say, but to what you feel. This force is your energetic field, and it's creating your destiny long before you take action. Most people go through life believing the future depends only on effort, plans, and decisions. But the truth is something else. A truth few are ready to hear. Your field vibrates before you choose. It's already sending signals to the universe, attracting experiences compatible with the frequency you hold every single day. You might be asking for prosperity, but vibrating scarcity. You might be affirming faith, but feeling fear. And it's in this silent contrast that your field begins to create a future that doesn't match your desires. But when you understand how this energy works, everything changes, because the power to create consciously awakens. In this video, you're going to discover how your energetic field shapes your reality, how to reprogram it, and how to align your vibration with the future you truly want to live. Stay until the end, because there's a revelation that could completely change the way you manifest. If you feel this is the moment to raise your frequency, subscribe now to Manifest Now and start vibrating the future that's already feeling you. There's something happening in silence around every person, a subtle dance of frequencies responding to everything they feel. Most people live believing the future is shaped only by visible choices and actions, without realizing there's a much deeper vibrational force operating behind the scenes. This energy never sleeps, never pauses, never forgets. It registers every emotion, every thought, every unspoken intention. It's your energetic field, creating destinies while you think you're just living in the present. Imagine a calm lake reflecting the sky. Every thought you emit is like a stone thrown into it. The ripples expand, touching places you can't see, shaping the reflection that will return to you tomorrow. This is the invisible principle governing the flow of prosperity, abundance, and opportunities. Even when you doubt, the lake keeps reflecting what you vibrate. That's why some people seem blessed without effort. They don't fight against life. They simply tune into the natural flow of vibrational energy. While others try to control the external world, they understand the power of adjusting the internal frequency. It's not luck, it's alignment. And the purer the vibration, the more harmonious reality becomes. But there's an uncomfortable secret few have the courage to see. We're not always emitting the frequency we think we are. Often, the mind says one thing, but the energetic field vibrates another. The person speaks of abundance but vibrates fear, desires prosperity but carries guilt. And it's this silent disharmony that creates confusing futures, repeated cycles, and inexplicable results. The mystery is this: the universe doesn't respond to what you want, it responds to what you are in this exact moment. And this understanding changes everything, because when you realize this, something inside you begins to awaken, and the old idea of control slowly dissolves, making space for a new revelation that true power was never in your hands, but in your vibration. Human beings grew up believing they control their own destiny only through effort, logic, and willpower. They were taught to plan every step, calculate every decision, as if life were a predictable equation. But there's a detail almost no one mentions. The energetic field doesn't obey the force of reason. It responds to the vibration of emotion. And that's why so many try to change their lives through the mind, but remain trapped in the same frequencies. The conscious mind is just the tip of an iceberg. Below it, there are layers of beliefs, fears, and memories constantly emitting vibrations, even in silence. The person repeats prosperity affirmations, but the field is programmed for scarcity. Smiles in public, but vibrates insecurity. And this contrast creates an invisible noise, sabotaging manifestations and pushing away what they most desire. That's why some people do everything right and still feel like something isn't flowing. What they don't realize is that vibrational energy doesn't follow physical effort, but emotional coherence. When thought and feeling contradict each other, the universe reads what's stronger, and almost always, it's what's in the heart, not in the speech. It's like trying to change a song by shouting over it, without realizing the volume comes from within. This is the great illusion of conscious control. Thinking the future is shaped only by wanting. Wanting comes from the mind, but creating comes from frequency. When you change your internal state, the field changes the external. And when that happens, control stops being a necessity and transforms into trust. The flow of life begins working with you, not against you. And it's at this point a new question arises. If true power isn't in control, where is it? This answer is hidden in a universal code, a silent language that few can hear, but that everything in the cosmos understands. It's the next step in the journey, the secret language of energy. There's a language that doesn't use words, but is understood by everything that exists. It doesn't need translation, because it speaks directly to the vibrational field. It's the language of energy, the dialect through which the universe responds to your internal states. Every emotion, every intention, every silence emits a signal, and that signal travels through space, shaping experiences that seem like coincidences, but are actually responses. Thoughts are electric, feelings are magnetic. Together, they create a unique vibrational pattern, the code of your reality. When mind and heart are in harmony, this frequency becomes pure and coherent, attracting equivalent experiences. But when they're in conflict, the vibration becomes unstable, generating chaos, repetitions, and invisible blocks. That's why the same day seems to repeat itself with different faces. Imagine your energetic field as a cosmic radio station. You don't attract what you want, you tune into what you emit. Low frequencies bring dense experiences. Elevated frequencies open doors to synchronicities and prosperity. Energy doesn't miss its destination, it only responds to the transmission. And every time you change your emotional state, you also change the channel you're listening to. It's at this point that awakening begins. When human beings learn to listen to what they're feeling, they stop being hostages to chance. They begin to notice that external reality is just a mirror sensitive to the internal field. This perception brings power, but also responsibility, because every unconscious thought is a seed thrown into the field of creation. And the universe flowers everything you plant in it. But if energy is a language, what happens when it's distorted by repressed emotions, old fears, and fragmented vibrations? The field stops translating your desires clearly and starts sending confused messages to the cosmos. It's at this point that internal conflict arises, the noise that blocks manifestation. And that's exactly what the next step reveals, the fragmented energy that distorts your creative power. Within every person, there's a silent battle between what they believe they deserve and what they truly feel worthy of receiving. This division creates subtle cracks in the energetic field, like exposed wires in a spiritual circuit. The energy vibrates, but loses power, and when vibration fragments, the universe receives contradictory signals, responding with confusion, delays, and mirrors, showing what hasn't been healed yet. Many try to manifest a new reality without realizing they're asking for light with their heart in shadow. They want abundance, but vibrate scarcity. Speak of love, but carry fear. Say they trust, but doubt in silence. This incoherence is the real block, not a punishment from the universe. It's just the exact reflection of the frequency emitted, a faithful translation of what you haven't yet integrated. Fragmented energy is born from resistance. from denying pain, clinging to the past, trying to control what should have already been released. When emotions are repressed, they don't disappear, they just change form and keep vibrating, influencing choices, relationships, and results. The field doesn't judge, it only replicates what it feels, and that's why healing begins when the person has the courage to feel instead of running away. Imagine a broken mirror trying to reflect its own light. No matter how beautiful the image, it will come out distorted. The same happens with human energy. While the field is fragmented, reality's reflection will be incomplete. Harmony doesn't manifest in the absence of pain, but in the integration of it. It's the act of accepting what you feel that restores the power to create consciously. But there's good news. Just as energy can fragment, it can also be reprogrammed. And this is the moment when the Creator awakens within you, the instant when consciousness learns to realign the field, restoring the natural flow of abundance. That's what the next step reveals, the moment of revelation, when you begin to reprogram your energetic field. There's an instant when consciousness awakens and realizes it's not a victim of old vibrations. It's the very source of them. This is the turning point, the moment when human beings understand they can reprogram their own energetic field. Nothing external needs to change first. Transformation begins inside, in the place where thoughts meet feeling. That's where the new frequency is born, silent but powerful. Reprogramming the field isn't about denying what you feel, but about transmuting it. It's looking at fear and choosing to vibrate faith. It's feeling pain, but not becoming it. Energy doesn't change through escape. It changes through presence. When the person begins to observe their emotions without judgment, the field understands they're ready for a new vibrational code. And the universe responds with synchronicities, signs, and coincidences that seem magical. Imagine a musician tuning their instrument before playing. The sound only becomes harmonic when each string is in balance. So too is your energetic field. Every thought is a note, every emotion a frequency. And when vibration aligns with essence, reality transforms into a melody of prosperity and abundance. Nothing is coincidence. Everything is vibrational coherence. This process requires patience and awareness. It's not about controlling, but allowing, letting energy flow through you instead of trying to force it. When the field is reprogrammed, the right people appear, opportunities emerge, and time seems to cooperate. It's the beginning of a new kind of manifestation, one that doesn't come from effort, but from alignment. And then an even deeper revelation emerges. When you stop trying to change the field, it begins to change you. Consciousness expands, and the limited self gives way to the energetic self, and it's at this point that awakening becomes inevitable. The next step is natural, expansion, the moment when you stop being someone seeking energy and become the very energy in expansion. There's a moment when the seeker realizes there's nothing left to seek, because what they were looking for outside was always vibrating within them. This is true expansion, the instant when the I dissolves and the being understands they're not inside an energetic field, they are the field. There's no separation between who vibrates and what is vibrated. Everything becomes a single frequency of consciousness in motion. When this perception is born, reality changes texture. Things stop seeming like coincidences and begin revealing themselves as responses. Time bends, synchronicities intensify, and life flows with almost divine smoothness. Human beings no longer need to fight for prosperity. They become a channel through which prosperity flows naturally. There's no effort, only alignment. Expansion doesn't happen in a shout, but in a sigh. It's silent, deep, and at the same time liberating. When the field recognizes itself as creator, there's no more fear of lack, of error, or of the future. Everything is in constant vibrational communication. And the higher the frequency, the clearer the vision becomes that abundance was never something to conquer, but something to remember. This expansion creates a new kind of presence. Words gain power, the gaze transmits healing, silence manifests. The field begins to act before action, attracting experiences coherent with the internal state. It's the law of attraction in its purest form. No formulas, no techniques, just conscious energy moving energy. Vibration becomes living prayer. And it's precisely at this point that the paradox reveals itself. The future that seemed distant is already being felt now. Because when the field vibrates fullness, time stops being a line and becomes a circle. Everything you desire already exists, waiting only for the right frequency to manifest. And that's when the climax happens. The moment when the future begins to feel you. So the most powerful moment isn't when you imagine the future. It's when the future begins to respond to your vibration. Every emotional choice you make now sends a quantum echo to possible timelines. They're not waiting for you, they're watching you vibrate. And when your energetic field stabilizes in love, faith, and abundance, one of those timelines lights up, and the future begins walking toward you. The field doesn't just create tomorrow, it feels it, summons it, magnetizes it. And in that instant, time stops being a sequence and becomes a presence. The vibrational energy you emit today is already being felt by your future self. They recognize the signal. They respond. It's as if an invisible bridge forms between what you are and what you're becoming. And on that bridge, life begins to conspire in your favor. Most believe they need to chase a destiny. But destiny is just the reflection of a frequency maintained with consistency. When you sustain a vibration of fullness, the future organizes itself around that coherence. Opportunities, people, and miracles don't arrive by chance. They're attracted by the field you activated within yourself. It's a dance between you and the universe, where the rhythm is your emotion. This is the climax of the journey. The instant when the Creator recognizes they were never separated from creation. When this consciousness awakens, fear disappears and trust becomes natural. You feel the future, and the future feels you. There's no more distance between desire and manifestation, only the continuous pulse of energy expanding and returning infinitely. And now the awakened being understands the secret was never to change the world, but to change the frequency that interprets it. And by doing that, reality changes on its own. The energetic field keeps creating in silence. But now, it creates with intention, love, and consciousness. The awakening has happened, and expansion has only just begun. Now you know, your energetic field never stopped creating. It was only reflecting what you hadn't yet noticed. But from this instant on, something has changed. Your consciousness has changed, and when consciousness changes, vibration changes, and the future inevitably reorganizes itself. Notice how the simple act of observing your feelings has already begun to raise your frequency. You're no longer reacting, you're choosing. Every thought, every emotion, every conscious pause is a vibrational command rewriting the lines of your destiny. You've already begun the transformation. So I ask you, what is your field creating right now? What emotions are being transmitted in silence to your future? These questions aren't theoretical. They're portals. They invite you to live with presence, intention, and energetic power. As promised, here's the final revelation. You don't need to make the future happen. You just need to become its frequency. Everything you seek, prosperity, love, abundance, already exists in potential, waiting for the right vibration to manifest. If this video awakens something in you, like it now, share your reflection in the comments, and subscribe to Manifest Now to keep raising your vibrational energy. Turn on notifications and watch the next video. Your expansion journey is only beginning. The universe always responds to your vibration, and right now, yours is rising.